Hello, welcome back to Hood Made. I am Kim Hood. Today we're going to start a four-part series on some fall decor. So the very first thing we're going to be using is something that we have in our households every day, and that is paper towel and toilet paper cardboard rolls. We throw these out constantly. I've wondered for a very long time, is there something I can make with these that I could use and it would be cute decor? And I was scrolling through on Pinterest the other night and I found just the thing. We're gonna make pumpkins. So stay tuned. And in the meantime, if you will like and subscribe and comment below a little pumpkin emoji, that will be awesome. So let's get on with the video. Okay, so here is the toilet paper roll. So you're just going to cut it to be however big you want it. You can make a tall one, you can make little short ones. Since I already have kind of a medium one and a short one, I may go ahead and make this one a little bit taller. So I'm just going to kind of cut a hole here and cut that to the appropriate height. Now, this does not have to be perfect, y'all. The yarn or twine or whatever you're using will cover a multitude of sin, essentially. And what you're going to want to do is, in order to build up this part of the pumpkin so that it's not so flat, you're going to want to cut some little maybe 1/4 inch long slits in the ends of this. So you're going to go all the way around on the top and the bottom. And there's probably a little more than a 1/4 inch between each slit. But now, y'all, don't be getting your measuring stick out, okay? Eyeball it, okay? If you get too serious with crafting, it'll drive you crazy. You've got to roll with it. So then you're going to want to pull the edges down like this right here, okay? Because that's going to make your essentially the lip of the pumpkin, okay? You may have seen some videos where people used pool noodles to do this. Of course, it makes much bigger pumpkins. These sizes are perfect for tiered trays. You can also use them for shelf sitters. You can put clips on them and attach them to your holiday tree. Yes, I said holiday tree, y'all. Listen, trees are not just for Christmas, okay? You can decorate those son of a guns all year long, according to whatever the holiday is. And I have done that for the past 5 years and have enjoyed it immensely. So currently I have a holiday tree up. It is decorated for the fall. It's got pumpkins and sunflowers and all kinds of fall things on it. And you can get these little clips that you can glue on the bottom of it, and you can attach it to your little tree, and it is so cute, okay? Of course, if you make enough of these, they will make great bowl filler. So that'll be the other thing that you can do. Plus, mamas, grandmamas, listen to me. This will make a great project. Now, of course, they're going to need help with hot glue, but this can be something that you can get the little kids to help you with that will keep them busy for a little while anyway. What you're going to want to do is get the rope, the twine, the whatever you're going to use to cover this, okay? And I will tell you, this one took about 3 layers of yarn. Now for this, I doubled up the string. Well, actually, I tripled it up like this, left it very long so that I was pulling like 3 pieces through at a time. And then once I did that, I did a collection of 3 strands and I put knots in it. Okay, so you'll see here, you got these little knots all the way around, makes this cute little texture on it. And so I just thought that that was a lot more interesting than just leaving the plain, the plain strands. So I knotted it and then I ran it through. So this essentially is also three to 4 layers. So we'll see what the jute twine turns out being. So I'm just going to cut a piece here. Now, when you are doing this glue, I highly advise that you use some piece of silicone, something, either the finger protectors or get a popsicle stick. This is a silicone stick I'm going to be using. because you're going to have to hold that piece of yarn or twine on the inside and that hot glue. Well, let's just say if you're not careful, you're going to be talking to Jesus a lot more than you might normally do, okay? Because it'll make you say ugly words when it gets real hot. So we're going to put some on the inside of this, and I'm going to set this down inside here in that hot glue, and I'm going to push it down with this piece of silicone stick here that I got, okay? And I'm going to just kind of hold that in place. This particular glue gun gets very hot. Okay, now I'm just going to begin to run this all the way through over and over and over again. So I'll get it started and kind of give you an idea, and then I'm not going to sit here and have you watch the whole thing because, well, now that's boring. Of course, I could chat during the whole thing, but I had rather use the time to kind of show you how it works. Okay. So now the jute twine works a little bit easier than the yarn I'm finding because the yarn is a little bit harder to just put the end in like I just did. So see how I take the end of the jute twine and just drop it through. It's heavy enough to do that. The yarn won't do that. So I had to constantly use my finger to push it through with the yarn. And so that's another situation. You got some hot glue down in there. It hurts real bad and make you cry. So just, be careful with that. Now, you can see here, I'm going to be trying to put them as close together as I possibly can. You don't have to put any more glue on this at this point. You can just keep running this until you get your first layer all the way around. And so I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. Okay, so this is the first piece I cut. You can see it didn't make it all the way around, and I have this little piece left over. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take the glue gun. I'm going to put a drop inside there, and I'm just going to glue that on the inside, and I'm going to cut it off flush where you can't see it. I'll get another piece, put the glue back in there again, start the piece from the inside, and keep wrapping it all the way around. All right, let me show y'all something. This hole is starting to get a little bit narrow and it's getting harder and harder to put the jute through. And it's because the thickness and all and the roughness of this, it's hard to even put my finger in there to push it through. So I'm going to take this popsicle stick slash tiny tongue depressor. Let's put some hot glue on the end of this right here. And then let's fix the end on. We're going to use it like needle and thread. So I'm going to just glue it on to the end of this, and I'm going to use it to just push this through. Y'all, and this is, I don't know why I hadn't thought about this before, but this is so much easier than just poking it through. I kind of wish I had done this last night. Y'all, now listen, this is a project that you can do. It's very mindless. You can do this in front of the TV, watching your favorite shows, like you watch like a Dateline NBC 48 hours, 2020 kind of thing while doing this, because all you have to do really is just look up every now and again to kind of see what, the picture is that's being shown. But otherwise, those are things you just kind of listen to. So you could make a bunch of these while, watching your killing shows. We call them the killing shows. Me and Drew, my husband Drew do. So, all right, now, again, I'm going to push this through. It might be a little bit hard to do. You could always shorten it to cut it off or whatever. I'm just going to pull this through. I think that's good enough right there. Okay, I'm going to need to do another strand, and I'm going to affix this to the underneath side and continue to get this wrapped. Okay, so now I've got it all the way around, and I probably could stop there, but am I going to? Well, no, no. As crafters, you never know really when to stop. Sometimes you go a little too far and you're like, yeah, I probably should have stopped. Other times you're like, did I go far enough? You never really know. So with that said, though, this is jute. It's hairy, okay? The hair gets on my nerves. So I like to set it on fire to get the hair off. It's very satisfying. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that if it catches on fire, you've got a way to put it out. You want to put it in a bucket. You want some water nearby. I keep a metal bucket. I keep a pitcher of water nearby that I can use. And so, of course, you don't want to use it around any kind of a paint that's got a solvent in it because then, well, the bucket and water might not help out. Now, this is something that the children are not going to do. We're not going to let the children set the jute on fire if you decide to use jute. Of course, if you use just regular yarn, you don't need to set it on fire. But this is a very satisfying thing to do, and it does get the little hairs off, and you can see here it just burns them ever so slightly, and it makes it look a little bit smoother. And it's one of my most favorite things in the world to do is to burn the hair off of jute twine. Most crafters are very happy to do this. I remember the first time I saw somebody do this, y'all, I was like, I got to find me some jute so I can set it on fire. And I've been doing this sort of thing for at least a year and a half, y'all. And I have never had a mishap of any kind. You just be cautious and it works out fine. See? Now that looks so much better. It's so much cleaner now than all those little hairs sticking off, okay? Now this is really quite cute the way it is. However, I've got this, and I think this would be cute on the outside. Not like as tightly together as this, but maybe kind of spaced out. It'll add a different texture and pattern to the pumpkin. So I'm going to see what this looks like. Now I'm going to use my stick and scrape this off. Now I'll tell you a way to get glue off of something that you don't want to glue, like with the glue stick. If you want to like get it off of whatever it is you're using, you can use a scraper like this, or you can use your heat gun, kind of melt the glue again, and it reactivates that hot glue. Also, if you ever make a wreath or something and you use hot glue, you know how you get the little spider web of glue? If you just take a heat gun and you just put heat to it, blow hot air on it, those little spider webs go away. So just a little tip there for you. Kind of nice. So, all right, so let's glue this rickrack to the end of my popsicle stick. And then I'm going to cut off some that I think will be enough. I might have to piece it, we'll see. But I am going to just put a little glue on the inside. I'm going to use my stick here. I'm going to hold that down for a little bit. And so, the question is, do you go to that angle like that? Or do you do it straight up and down? I kind of like it angled a little bit. So I'm going to try that and see what that looks like. Now listen, I know some of y'all going to be like, well, now how much of that did you use? What was the length? Listen, I don't do that. I don't measure. The reason I don't measure is because most of the stuff I do is quite spontaneous. Like I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, let me try that. Or I'll have an idea and I'll just go do it. So I usually have enough product to do whatever I need to do. Of course, if you're going out and you're buying the products to make the craft, you're going to be having to buy a whole skein of yarn or rickrack or whatever it is that you plan to use. So you should always have enough. I mean, I wouldn't do this type of a project with just some leftovers of something. Now, this rickrack I got here, I bought this. I can't remember if I got it from Amazon or if I got it from Temu. But there was a collection of jute types of rickrack that was other than just the twine, and so I got it, and I've had this for a very long time, which is why I don't know where I got it from. When you first start crafting, you'll see stuff and you'll be like, oh, I think I can use that, and you'll just get it, and then you'll have your collection, and then you start to run out of space, and then you start thinking, well, I better make something with what I got before I purchase anything. So that's kind of what this is about too. I want to kind of use what I have before I go buy a bunch of stuff. Now, of course, with these little pumpkins, these have turned out so cute, in my opinion, that I certainly might go and get like some other colors of yarn to use, some other textures to try. The other thing this would be really cute in is if you've got a very large glass jar, like an apothecary jar, fill it up with this. That would be so cute. See here. Okay, so you can kind of see here how I've got it at an angle. I think that looks really cute. You could put some additional layers of the regular jute on here, just to kind of continue to hide the paper towel holder if you want to. I didn't do that. It doesn't, I mean, in my opinion, it doesn't matter because it all looks brown anyway. So I'm going to stop my project here, glue that down, and then I've got to figure out what I'm going to use for peduncle on it. The pumpkin nubbin. How about that? I like that. The pumpkin nubbin. It needs a pumpkin nubbin. So I'm gonna try to figure out what I want to do with that, and I'll let y'all know. Now, probably could have put a couple of these a little bit closer together. Might need to adjust this a little bit. Let's see here. If I pull that over a skosh bit, and I pull this over a skosh bit, then look what I have, y'all. I got enough space to put one here from here to here. So let's just do that real quick. Let's just add a little bit more of this jute. This is what I'm talking about. Just eyeball it, you know. If it don't look right, then take it apart, do it again. Okay. And I like that spacing a lot more. So you can kind of see here. There we go. Yeah, that looks cute. I like that. So you can certainly braid some yarn or some twine, and do something like this. Layer it with something in between here, maybe something a little lighter with white on it or white and gold. That gives me an idea. I think I'm going to stop though. Yeah, y'all know how I said I was going to stop. I lied. Let me show you what I've decided to do. I think this is going to really help with the contrast on this piece. Sometimes when it's a little too flat, I'm like, what can I do to enhance the contrast? This is some more of the jute. It came in that packet of stuff. So again, something I've had for a very long time. And I'll tell y'all, listen, if you're looking to try to start a craft stash, you want to go check out places like, well, if you go to Hobby Lobby and Michael's and such, definitely do it when they have clearance sales. That's the best time. And then you can get nice blanks from, of course, thrift stores and from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, especially when they have clearances. Well, Dollar General has clearances. I don't know that Dollar Tree ever does. But it'll help you begin to get, some things you can, work with. Also, check out Temu. Now, if you do Temu, if you've never done Temu, just be real careful. You want to make sure that you buy something that says that it's already local. And you also want to purchase something that has some ratings on it. Read the comments, because sometimes these little slick people will put a comment in there, but it's not to the product that they're selling. And so you want to make sure that someone actually mentions what it is that you're looking at. And you want to get somebody that's got some pretty decent stars. I try to get 4.5 or higher. And but you can get some things to start your craft stash from uh, Temu. Amazon is good too. Sometimes you can find large volumes of stuff from Amazon. If you're looking to get ribbons and knick-knack whatnots to use for crafting. So I really like the way this looks. I think this looks really good. There's a lot of depth to that now, a lot of contrast. I think that's super cute. It actually might be my favorite one yet. Love it, love it, love it. All right, let me trim this off. I'm going to glue this down on the inside here. Might need to burn it a little bit too. If y'all made it this far, is there a fire extinguisher emoji? Because that would be fun to comment, a fire extinguisher emoji. I don't know if there's one or not. I've never looked for one. You could always comment a fire emoji. That'd be good. Give me a fire emoji in the comments, y'all. That'd be fun. Okay, so here we go. I think that looks super cute. So now I'm going to go find my pumpkin nubbin and I shall return. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this for my pumpkin nubbin. And I'm not sure if I should put it in this way, or do you like that it looks a little bit more substantial this way, but in this situation it's a little bit taller. So I may go with this one. I'm going to be using my Waverly antiquing wax. Okay, I usually just drop it in the, dip it out of the lid. Just put this on. I love using antiquing wax to stain little wooden pieces. It's non-toxic. It's easier to do than a stain. It doesn't stink. And this is actually water based. So you don't have to worry about a solvent. You don't have to worry about using, a turpentine or something like that, mineral spirits, to clean up your brushes and such. So definitely my favorite go-to. I like the deep, the rich color. It looks a little walnut-like to me. All right, so I've got that stained, and I'm just gonna get some hot glue and just kind of put it on the inside here and push this soon-to-be pumpkin nubbin in place. All right. I don't need it to go too far deep in there. I kind of like it at that length. I think that looks really cute. Okay, now get some foliage. I like these two little leaves here. We'll use that. And given this is a little bit bigger, I may put one of these little pomegranates on there. A little pomegranate and this little berry here. Maybe this little one here. And let's see what that looks like. Okay. Are these what pumpkin leaves look like? Probably not. Do I care? No, because this is obviously not a real pumpkin. It is a impression of a pumpkin, right? So if you're going for something realistic, then you might want to find something that looks more realistic. Of course, you could put little ribbons on this. You could do all kinds of stuff. So I think that's adorable. I'm going to get this styled up, show you a couple ways to use it. And here are the finished pumpkins on my tiered tray. They are so cute. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a close-up here. There is the little blue-green one with the knots, the medium-sized one, and then my larger pumpkin that I showed y'all on the video. And here they are as part of the bowl filler. Y'all, I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Please be sure to come back when I have part 2 posted. And thanks for watching.